Hello, my name is Marcus Womack. I'm the Minister of Outreach here at Grace Avenue, one of our associate pastors, and we're again talking simple generosity today, and we're joined by Kenneth and Suzanne Wolverton, longtime members of Grace Avenue here, and they're going to share some of their story of generosity and especially what it means for us to commit, like we're inviting everyone in our church family to do this weekend, to the work of God in our world through our church together. Would you share about maybe your story with giving to church and faith and Grace Avenue, and especially that maybe what it meant for y'all to grow into that kind of intentional commitment?
Well, I was brought up in a Baptist household. Tithing was very important. But my father was an extremely generous human being. I mean, he would give the shirt off his back for somebody in need. He was always great at finding people that needed things and how could he serve them. So when I got my first paycheck, I was so proud. Look, I got my paycheck. He was like, great, go get your checkbook. And we sat down and he showed me how to write my first check from my paycheck, and that first check was to the church. Yeah. And being able to give first to God was instilled in me very young.
So my journey was very different. I didn't necessarily grow up in the church, although we went periodically. So I didn't do a lot of giving as a young adult. And so when I started getting involved in church and started thinking about making an intentional commitment, that 10% was thrown at me. And I got to be honest, my first reaction was, what? Yeah. I'm going to go from nothing to 10% of my income? And it just, when I first started, it was probably less than 1%. Mm-hmm. But there was something about that intentional every single month of something back to God, and it became a journey for me, a journey over 25 years, and it just seemed like every single year I'd sort of go, that wasn't so bad. I can do a little more. I can stretch a little more, and you just sort of build and build and build until we got to a point that, it was just part of what we do now.
Would you maybe talk a little bit more about maybe your hopes for generosity for our church at Grace Avenue, maybe your hopes now, your hopes for what generosity might do in the future for our church?
I think for me, it's just that everyone that needs a place finds a place. And what a blessing it would be if our church becomes that place for them to call home, because that is, everybody needs a home, and we have so many new families that are moving into this community who are, they're unpacking their lives into a whole new scene, and to find home, a spiritual home and an emotional home, in addition to a physical home, through Grace Avenue, I think would be a huge blessing to our community.
Well, that's really good, but I don't know. For me, I guess some people would think after being here 20 years that I'd be comfortable with where we are, and I'm very grateful where we are, but I think we still got a lot more that we can do as a church, and I hope we continue to look forward and continue to dream about what God can do through us as a church. And that's going to take everybody. That's going to take all of us continuing to trust, as you said, in where it goes. And through that process, I hope that people do make that jump from feeling like this is something that I have to do to something that gives them a great joy in being able to do it and being able to give back and being able to say, thank you, God, for everything you've given me. Now let me be a vessel to go serve others.